Shalom. Kahala Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Kodash. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elder that came before them, that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect, tabernacle of David. All right. My brother Yashawan with a quick lesson. All right. Dealing with the time that we're coming into. All right. And it's going to be the heat is being turned up, if you will. And it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So, I mean, we've counted the cost. We know what to expect. So here we go. All right. We got to move forward into the meat grinder, so to speak. So, and again, the ultimate, and I'm speaking on what happened down in San Diego, all right? Because people are going to say what they're going to say. But ultimately, if we start at the top, all right, Yahweh Shai is the example, all right? Now, Yahweh Shai could have made easy work out of anybody that stepped forward, but he didn't, all right? He even, Yahweh Shai had spiritual power the whole time, all right? So he could have used it, all right, to prevent what eventually happened, which was he was martyred, all right, all the way through. And again, he's the example, all right. So if you start there, all right, that's all it is. There's nothing left to be said. The prime example, if you will. So let's start right here at Matthew 10 and 6, all right. And other brothers have already done this, but the Spirit is on me to do my part, and I'm gonna tell a couple of little stories that have happened over the years, right? Because one of the brothers was breaking it down. He was like, "Well, the Spirit had it so that things calmed down, and they did calm down quite a bit." All right. Anyway, let's start right here. This is Matthew 10:16. We all know this, but let's examine it. Behold, look, right? I send you forth. All right. So we're being sent forth. Number one, that's a commandment. We're being sent out there. So go. And this is how you go. As sheep. Right? As sheep in the midst of wolves. Right? And it's nothing but wolves out there, demons, waiting to, again, use Yahushua as the example. And Yahushua had spiritual power and they knew it. But the wolves are still coming. They're still there. They're going to be there. All right? Be ye therefore wise. Right? There's the wisdom. As serpents. And the serpent is very wise. And a serpent will attack your ass too. If you take it too far. If you come too close, the serpent will strike your ass. So let's not forget that. All right? And harmless as doves. And them brothers out there, they were harmless as doves. A little too harmless, maybe. They could have, been more prepared. And like the brother said, they certainly didn't go after one of the bigger brothers. He was talking with him, but when it came down to the shoving, you picked the most likely target, I would suppose. But all right. So what do we see here? Be ye therefore wise as serpents, and see that and right there? So this would be somewhere in the middle. Okay? This is somewhere in the middle. You got your serpent right there who is, cunning, smart. He's observant, circumspect. He's watching. And if you come too close, he will put that venom in you. Okay? And then you got on the other side of that, you have the balance. All right. And this is what we're looking for. Basically, it's saying, hey, here, I'm going to put you out there. I'm going to throw you to the wolves. That's somewhere in here. I'm going to throw you to the wolves, but be balanced out there. All right. Where's that at? Contemporary English version. I am sending you like lambs into a pack of wolves. Right? A pack. Right? Basically, I'm throwing you to the wolves. And what you got to do while you're out there, right, encircled, you gotta hold it together. You gotta, you have to maintain. Okay, so that leads me into my first story, right? And I've probably been out there maybe 2 years, maybe less. So I'm out there, and it's a one-man camp because I remember when the spirit hit me, I was like, okay, well, I can't wait any longer. I got to do something, or the Most High is going to destroy me, which is what I clearly remember. But so I made the sign, and I went out there. I didn't have a garment or anything. I didn't know what to do. So I just went out there, chose the spot where the spirit led me, and started speaking, right? And you don't know what to expect. The doctrine is so different than anything else that has ever been in the area, right? Little Christian preachers that come out and do their little thing, and whatever it was that I was saying, it was threatening, right? And you don't have mastery over your delivery quite yet, so it invokes a lot of the white man is the devil. You going into slavery, things like that will stir the devil right up. And this had to be, let's say 2010, 2011, in that area. Okay. And again, I was green, and um, I was probably about 45, still had enough energy, and I was in good shape, still had enough energy that if I had to scuffle, then that's what it would be. So the Edomite, the devil, comes up. And I remember, what I do remember, it was so long ago now, but I actually had to fight because the Edomite got in my face and he said, "You call me a slave one more time and I'm going to hit you in the nose." So naturally, uh, and again, I was young or younger, and so I called him a slave right in his face, and the Edomite hit me in the nose, just like he said he would. And at that point, I knew that I had to defend myself because he was basically challenging me, and it was gonna go a couple of rounds. So took the garment off because I know he was already gonna play dirty. Took the garment off and I stepped down, and then we kind of went at it, and it was just basically some tussling, maybe a couple of punches here and there. And then he walked away because I was getting the better of him, right? And he goes back because he had left his backpack a few yards away. So he goes to the backpack, and then I'm thinking, uh-oh, he's going to get a gun. And I remember this clearly. This part I remember clearly. And I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is, and here we go, all right? He goes back to the backpack, and then he pulls something out of the backpack, and what it was a chain. It was a big chain, and it had like a master lock on it. And he comes up, and he's swinging the chain. Come on, nigga. Come on, nigga. Come on, nigga. This is a cracker. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, you just got a chain. I said, well, it's not a gun. So, and again, I'm making probably all the wrong decisions out there, but in the moment, whatever was going on had to go down. And that's, in the spirit, that's what the Most High wanted, right? And uh, I hate to call him this, but my stepbrother was standing there watching the whole thing. So anyway, which I wasn't worried about one way or the other. The Edomite, he had a couple of people with him, but nobody. He was the only one acting. So it was 1-on-1. And so he comes up swinging a chain. Come on, nigga. I'm like, well, I might take a blow or two, but as soon as I get up on him, then I'll disarm this fool. And sure enough, he came up, swung the chain, and he popped me on the top of the head. And at that point, I'm like, oh shit, it's on now. So I was able to, to get him, flipped him up, slammed him, and then what I remember most, right? Because it was light work, but being an older gentleman at the time, you only got so much energy. So what I remember was having him controlled, because I'm not, you ain't gonna kill nobody or make a mistake, and then you're in deep trouble. So I had him, and I was on top of him, and his face was to the ground, and I was grinding his face into the concrete. And then he started begging and crying, talking about, I yield, I yield, I yield. I'm like, uh-huh. Yeah, you yield, I'm supposed to let you up. So basically, that was the end of it. I grinded him a little. I could imagine what the angels were, inflicting upon him. But I let him go. I let him get up, and somebody had called the cops. And the cops come over, and then they question me and get all my information. This was early, right? And so that was the first experience I had out there by, having to defend myself or whatever. And so what happens is you take that back with you, and you analyze it, and you go over it in your head, and you say, well, what could I have done different? Because this isn't, what you want. You don't want to be out there fighting. You don't want to, be accosted by the police and having all your information taken down. Nothing came of it, but at that point, that they're watching you. They got their eye on you. The cameras go up. Then they're watching the whole area. All right. So that was one story. And again, you're young in that thing, and you do things, you say things that lead to a confrontation like that. There's when you look back, you say, well, I could have did this different. I could have not called him a slave. I could have called him a servant. Or, that would go back to being wise. Right? You call me a slave again and I'm gonna hit you up. I said, okay, I won't call you a slave. I'll call you a servant. How about that? All right. And he might have still tried to swing. Okay, who knows? But when you go back and analyze the situation, all right, really, you're up in your game. You got, how do you make that different? Okay, so that was one incident. I'm trying to keep them short, but then you think to yourself, oh, okay, I got to fight in this thing if need be. I got to protect myself in this thing if need be, and it's just me, one man camp. All right. So that balance has to come in. And so that was one story. And then there was a couple of, people threatened me a couple of times in there. And then what you do is you de-escalate, so that you don't have to get physical. All right. If at all possible. If it's going to go down and there's nothing you can do about it, then you got to defend yourself. All right. And we all know that. So the second story goes like this. There's this idiot nigga out there, right, who's probably older than myself, look like he is at least. And so at the time, shoot, can't even remember how many years ago. This is maybe 6, 7 years ago now. But it's this guy I call him the minstrel. Okay, and the minstrel used to go out. He used to bring a radio flyer wagon out, and he'd have a big old boom box, and he'd bring weights out. And this nigga would come out. He'd bring the radio flyer full of his things, bunch of weights and different little exercise equipment, and he'd have a big old box, and then he'd put a tip jar out, and then the nigga would take off his shirt and oil up his body and put on a bow tie. So he got no shirt on and a bow tie. This nigga oiled up, and he'll start lifting weights while blasting the music and trying to get tips. And this nigga's like a goddamn circus clown out there. And I mean, he'd probably been out there years before I even stepped out there. So that was his, that's his shtick. That was his spot. And, he would be out there sometimes on a regular, and sometimes, he wouldn't show up at all. But, he was, we stayed away from each other. He would blast his music. I'd get copyright strikes or whatever. But one time, this nigga just had demons on him. And I'm not even sure why. But I used to lift up my voice very loud at that time. And the demons just got the best of him one time. And he came up. He approached me in an angry fashion. And the nigga was muscle bound too. All right. He's out there lifting weights. He, had some size on him. And he confronted me. And I remember thinking, well, what am I going to do? If I got to hit this nigga, then that's what it's going to be. And so he got in my face and we went back and forth. He was trying to get me, I don't know, to quiet down or I don't know. His doctrine was different. The nigga came up like a demon. All right. And then suddenly, because the camera was rolling, and the camera was on a tripod, he turns around and he kicks the camera off the tripod, and the camera just hit the ground, boom, right? And at that point, I was like, now I got to do something. And it was just the camera, right? He didn't attack me. He attacked the camera. So, I mean, where does that wisdom come in? Where's that balance? Okay? You get another camera, all right? And so I didn't do anything. I held my peace, right? I was mad as hell because people were watching. They were watching us yell and scream at each other. And because we had caused a fracas, if you will, somebody called the police, right? Now I'm over there trying to be wise, right, and harmless, okay? Where's that at? Right here, harmless. Okay. Next thing you know, the police show up, right? And I just kept pushing the word, right? I went back to pushing the word, picked the camera up, and the popos came straight to him and started questioning him. Well, what's going on? And, me and that dude, we were actually cool with each other. But a demon jumped on him and he attacked me, he attacked the camera, and he brought attention to himself. And so I think they questioned me. Oh, no, nothing. I'm not mad. I'm not, I just kind of whisked it away. I didn't even say he did anything. And what I remember most was, trying to diffuse the situation by saying, no, he didn't do nothing. We argued for a minute. Nothing physical happened. So they just kept talking to him. And then about 3 or 4 more cruisers showed up. And so as that was happening, I'm like, well, what's going on? Then I just kept pushing the word, And they were talking to him, and then they had him surrounded. Next thing I know, he's getting cuffed. And they cuffed him, stuffed him, And then they took off, and then they just left me there because they knew who I was, and they know who he is. That was evident. But so they cuffed him and stuffed him. His truck was still there, and all of his stuff, and he got arrested right there on the spot. So at that point, I knew, right? Not only did I know that the Most High was with me, right, and that there's a way, right, to maneuver or to move in these types of situations. All right. And what happened was the dude had he had warrants, right? And I didn't see that guy again for like another 3 years. And the next time I saw him, okay, next time I saw him, he came up to me and apologized, and like he understood that he got himself into that trouble, and it was through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. Now he doesn't know the Lord, but he knew that, oh, I'm up there messing with a man of the Lord. Then turn around, I'm kicking the camera down. Next thing I know, I'm locked up for 3 years. Okay, he understood. Oh, I did the wrong thing, and so we renewed our respect for each other, and we kept it moving. That happened 3 years later. He said, I'm watching out for you. I'm like, I'm watching out for you too. And that's the way it should be. We don't, we're not brothers or anything, but we shouldn't be out there making a spectacle. All right. I'm already a spectacle, and you're a damn minstrel out here. There's room for what you're doing for as long as you can do it before you get burned up, by the missiles. But I'm not going nowhere, right? So, but that's just through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. When you move right in the spirit through instruction, this is heavy instruction right here, okay? And when you take it as such, then then the Most High is with you. All right. I remember going in San Francisco. I remember going to jail, right, because I wasn't moving like this. All right, and I allowed the serpent, the devil, to come in and say some things that weren't true. Next thing you know, I'm locked up. But that came to naught as well. The Most High is testing. You got to remember, everything is a test. All right. The Most High is putting you through it. He's preparing you for these days that are here right now. All right. So let me get a couple of precepts and I'll go. So those are my stories. You just gotta, especially now, you gotta be circumspect out here. All right. Let's get this. This is 2 Timothy 1 and 7. All right. For Yahweh Shem Shai hath not given us the spirit of fear, right? But of power and of love and of a sound mind. All right? So you got to be circumspect in that thing. Right? All the way until death. That's why we're out there. We understand that. But, okay? But, all right, where's the balance here? Okay? How do you get from here? For the Most High hath not given us the spirit of fear, right? A nigga will take that the wrong way. All right? Right here. Berean literal. For the Most High hath not given us the spirit of cowardice, okay, which is a better word. All right, so where's the balance between that and this. This is Proverbs 1 and 7. Get the KJV here. And we'll go ahead and close up after that. The fear of the Lord. There's the balance right there. Okay? This fear is healthy fear. And it's not about cowardice. This is about wisdom. Okay, what is the fear of the Lord? The beginning of knowledge and wisdom. Okay? Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The fear of the Lord. All right? There's that fear. Here's this fear. Can you give me that fear? 2 Timothy. All right? For the Most High have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. The spirit of power and of love and of a sound mind. Hey, we got to have a sound mind when we're out there, right? And this is a wake-up call for everybody. That's what, in the spirit, that's what that video represents. It's just a wake-up call. Hey, things are moving to the next level, all right? So be ready, all right? Like the brother was saying, go through in your mind, work through in your mind how how a situation like that would occur and what you would do in it. De-escalate the situation to the best of your ability. And if it came down to you having to defend yourself, you got to do what you got to do. All right? Balance. All right? Balance is the word. So with that, we hope that the elect were edified, and shalom.